Oh, we are live. Another Vikings Vintage for this week. We got the 49ers versus the Vikings. These two teams have actually played a lot. So, you know, let's let's get into it.
Vikings, let's win this game. Score Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run out the score. You'll hear us yell for more. V-I-K-I-N-G-S. Score Vikings, let's go.
I can't tell you how much I can't tell you how much I can't wait to do the Skull Chant live in my first game. So
Oh, on Sunday?
yeah, I leave Friday. I'll be there Friday night. So
Oh, okay.
staying with my buddy Ben. So that would be
Cool.
cool. But before we start talking about the vintage, before we start talking about the lineup, we have a question for you, Tony.
What? Oh, God. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I really need to apologize for Trisha for the 6 years that I complained about Kirk. She gave it all back to me in 3 hours.
That, I mean, he. I mean, what game? He did look that bad in one of the games that he played in for us.
He had a lot more in this game.
Right.
He had so many Kirk moments, it was hard to keep up. He just if he play and these guys, and now here's the thing with Atlanta, they got two more tough games. On the road in Philly in a primetime game on Monday night. Kirk is terrible in Philadelphia in primetime.
Yep.
And then the next week they got the Kansas City Chiefs.
So they're over 3.
They're going to be 0-3. I have listened to a couple of the podcasters in Atlanta. Some are not, they're not abandoning Kirk yet, but there's a few that they're pretty sure that if this team starts out 0-3 and Kirk looks terrible in the next 2 games, he's going to be benched. So,
Well, that's what happens when you take a quarterback in the first round.
T-Bass, we're talking about him because he's now quarterback of my girls' team. So,
Yeah, that's the only reason.
whatever I said about Kirk, and I would complain to her constantly about Kirk, and she would be the voice of reason. Now the shoe's on the other foot. I have to be the voice of reason, but it's hard to be the voice of reason because I know what the guy's all about. So,
Even though,
and she didn't want Kirk anyway. Didn't want Kirk anyway, but her team has him. So, yeah, it was. And I couldn't gloat. I mean, the Vikings were kicking ass on Sunday, so I'm like happy. And then I'm watching the Falcons game, and they're doing something that's just like, oh, damn, he's having Kirk moments. And, I wasn't going to gloat too much because she was, having a bad day. But, it's kind of like that's what you get with Kirk.
anytime, so
What's up, Zoe? Yeah, T-Bass, you're right. There are still a lot of Vikings fans that are hung up on him. I'm not one of them. I'm glad he's gone.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most Viking fans really don't care about Kirk
Yeah.
because he's. I mean, I'm on the opinion that to me he'll always be a Viking just because once you play for if you play to me if you play for Minnesota and you didn't leave like you weren't a dick when you left and you were still good with everything when you left. Then I always if you played for the Vikings I always consider you a Viking. So to me Kirk will always be a Viking. But
You can have him.
But well, no, that's what they need. But that's what anybody does. That's just the way I am with it. But yeah, so there's that. But the way Sam Donald plays Sunday, he looked like a cheaper version of Kirk Cousins.
He looked like a better version. And
Because
here's the thing. And Darnold,
okay, so Darnold did something that Kirk Cousins never did. Sam Darnold actually escaped the pocket and scrambled. If that was Cousins, he did it the last game of the game. He did it the last sack of the game against the Steelers. He turtled. So
and he didn't move at all Sunday.
Yeah. So I am glad we ain't got to worry about that.
Yeah, he didn't move at all. He didn't move at all Sunday, which is gonna be a problem all year.
So
that's gonna be a problem all year.
That is the end of the Cousins discussion. Well, not really.
Well, everybody's gonna be wondering, because my girl is a Atlanta fan, how is she coping with it? I mean, Atlanta's had bad years just like the Vikings, so she's still a fan. So, but this whole thing, it's the experiment's probably going to blow up.
That's not the last we're going to talk about Cousins in this show, because we had to talk about last year's game. But once that's done, that'll be it.
I mean, put it this way: Kirk played his best game as a Viking against the Niners last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and it was a primetime game, which was even more, more exceptional about it. But yeah, I'm following. Unfortunately I follow Atlanta too, because that's my girl's team and he's stuck there. So that's my world. But do I miss him? Hell no. I'm glad he's gone. He could have went. I mean, he's not a Viking anymore. I'm done with him. Good riddance. So, Yeah.
So the Vikings and 49ers have actually played a lot in their history.
Yeah, they have.
So they've actually played 50 times, which is astonishing because that should be like a divisional opponent almost.
Well, they were at one point. Before the divisions became branched off into what they were, I believe the Niners were in the West with the Vikings. So they did. I think they played the Niners twice a year up until probably 66, 67. Whenever they broke up the divisions into four. But I believe they played them twice a year. But yeah, we've played them just as much as we've played other teams outside of the division, the Rams also.
So going back to the very beginning, 10-16-61. 49ers. So 49ers actually beat them four times. The first four times they played, the 49ers beat them. So 61, 49ers 38-24, and then 61 again. November, it was 38-28.
Where was the November game played? Minnesota or San Francisco?
It was Vikings at San Fran.
Okay, the old Kezar Stadium.
Yeah,
that's where they played. I think they moved into Candlestick in either 71 or 72. I think it might have been 71. The Niners moved into Candlestick Park.
Yeah. Then I think is this the playoffs?
Yeah, George Myra was the quarterback of the Niners. Leo Namalini, the former Gopher All-American, was playing for the Niners on the D-line. Defensive end, I believe, or tackle.
Yeah, then in 62 it was 21-7 49ers and 35-12.
Yeah, 62 is just a bad year for the Vikings. They just regret. They won 3 games the year before, and then they looked more like an expansion team in 62.
And then Vikings won 5 in a row.
Starting in 63?
Yep. And they have one tie. 66 was the tie.
Okay. Yeah, Jim Marshall's wrong way run was 64 against the Niners. And here's one. I don't know. I forget who the quarterback was. It might have been Brody, but the wide receiver that caught the pass. Do you know who that was? That fumbled the ball catch.
You talking about? I'm sorry, the 49ers.
Yeah, the 49er receiver that fumbled the ball and Jim Marshall picked it up and ran the wrong way with it. Do you know who the receiver was?
Oh gosh. Was that Washington? I'm trying to remember. So the problem
Is Billy Kilmer.
they don't have box scores until 79.
What's that?
I can't find a box score before 79.
For any of the games?
Yeah. I'm looking on the Pro Football database. I looked at Wikipedia, looked at everything. I can't find the first game I can find a box score for is the September 2nd game of 79.
Oh, wow. You'll probably have to go to, Wikipedia, or I've got books that have box scores, so but yeah, it's they didn't do, I mean, they kept stats, but they didn't keep stats.
Yeah.
But you could always do like I used to do. I used to just go and look at the old newspapers. I used to go to the library and they've got the newspapers on microfilm. I would actually that's how I got a lot of the information I got. I would see the day of the game, and then I would look at the either the St. Paul or Minneapolis paper the day after the game. And so that's how I would know what exactly happened. Yeah, right, Dave. It was Myra to Kilmer, and then Kilmer fumbled, and Jim picked it up in stride and ran the wrong way. Which Carl Eller scored a touchdown that same day, that same game. He scored, I believe, on a 45-yard fumble return. Carl Eller scored. So,
well, here's what I think this is Pro Football Reference. Okay.
But yeah, I mean.
All right, so Pro Football Reference does have all the box scores.
Okay.
No. Okay. So let's see. They actually have. So they have the touchdowns by the players. I don't know if they have like actual stats. They got team stats, offensive and defensive stats. So
hey,
Pro Football Reference, I can actually look at the stuff.
Hey, Catch, go down to Davies' question. He's got a trivia question.
Is it Davey?
Yeah, Davey OG.
That one?
Nope, down farther.
Oh, so the last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
The answer to that question, Davey, and I don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it was Carl Kasulki. I'm pretty sure it was Carl Kasulki, if I remember the highlight.
What game? What year was that?
That was the game where Jim ran the wrong way.
Yeah, what year? Sorry.
64.
Let's see.
October 25th.
Okay. Let's see.
But yeah, I think it was Carl Kasulki that stripped the ball. He was in the play. Kasulki was in the play.
Kerry, what do you have?
But yeah, that was October 25th, 1964. Only reason I remember that is because October 25th is my birthday. It was 2 years before I was born.
Okay, so let's see.
Well, Bob, it was a safety because Jim, in celebration, threw the ball out of the end zone. He thought he had a touchdown. That's the only reason it was a safety.
All right, so it only has it looks like it has INTs on here.
That's it?
They had 3 Lori Winston had 3 picks.
In that game?
Butler had 1, and what was that? You said 25th, right?
October 25th, 1964.
October 25th, 1964, 27-22 Minnesota.
Yep.
Yeah. Carl Eller, 45-yard defensive fumble return.
Okay.
Doesn't say who stripped it. So defense is passing. Yeah, it just says, it doesn't say fumbles. It just says INTs. Maybe they didn't keep track of fumbles back then.
They didn't keep track of sacks at all. They really didn't. They did keep track of tackles, but they didn't keep track of sacks. They didn't keep track of forced fumbles. Who had the INTs, the interceptions?
Roy Winston had 3. Bill Butler and George Rose.
George Rose, okay.
And then Albert Kimbrough had the only pick for San Fran.
Oh, Kimbrough, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't say who. Like, it just says 46-yard fumble return. It doesn't say who called the fumble. They do have sacks on here. Well, Kilmer was sacked 3 times.
Yeah, Kilmer playing quarterback that game too?
Let's see. He was sacked once. Mirror was sacked 3 times. Brody was sacked. They had 8 sacks that game.
Oh, they played Myra and Brody?
Yeah. So Brody was sacked. Mira was sacked 3 times.
Okay.
Gilmer was sacked once. Brody, yeah, they didn't throw for very much. They only threw for 105 yards.
Hell, it sounds like every time he went back to pass, he got sacked.
So
yeah, Davey, Roy had quite a few interceptions his career. I always remember Roy as more of a tackler, but he did have quite a few interceptions.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, it just says 46-yard return. It doesn't say who calls the fumble.
Oh, for the 2 points?
For the safety, yeah.
That's all it says?
45-yard fumble. Carl Eller, 45-yard defensive fumble return. Fred Cox kick. Then 49ers safety, 66 yards.
The wrong way run. Yeah, that's the way they scored it? Okay. Yeah, Bob Kilmer played receiver. He did play receiver and quarterback that game, so. Yeah, and that's only because he threw the ball out of the end zone, I'm going to have to see that highlight again, Davey. I'm pretty sure it was Carl Kasulki. What's up, Eric?
Yeah.
And then we played him here later that year, didn't we?
Well, I think that was the one in Minnesota.
That was at Kezar Stadium.
Let me see. Yeah, that was that. Yeah, so it was that Sanford. Then we played them. The Vikings being 24-7.
Oh, here we beat them, or they beat us?
No, the Vikings beat them both in 64.
Okay.
And then The Vikings beat the first time they played 65. The Vikings beat them again October 24th. So they pretty much played the same week. At 65, they won, and then they lost the next time they played, and then they tied. And then pretty much it's been one loss since then.
So they alternated wins and losses.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then when they separated the divisions into like 4 divisions, they were the Capital, Century, Coastal, and the Central Division. The Central Division has always been Minnesota, Chicago, Green Bay, and Detroit. I want to say the Niners might have been in the Coastal Division at one time, and I forget who they were with. I think the Rams were in the Coastal too, and I don't remember who else was with them right off the top of my head.
Was it the Browns?
Could have been the Browns. It could have been the Browns. No, I think the Browns might have been in a Century.
Sorry,
and and then they got the Saints too. So, wait a minute, maybe it was the Saints. It might have been the Saints that were in the Coastal. Yeah, okay, it was Atlanta, Baltimore, LA, and San Francisco. Okay, all right.
Let's see. Can you guys hear it?
Okay, so he threw the ball out of the end zone. That's why it was a 2-pointer. Falcons, Colts, Rams, and Niners. Okay. All right, so that's Myra at quarterback. It's Kasulki. It's Kasulki. Kasulki stripped the ball. Yep. Yeah, it was Kasulki that stripped it.
All right, so whoever 29 is,
that's Kasulki, Carl Kasulki. Yep, Carl Kasulki. Yes, Sarah, I am alive. I got an earful this weekend, but I am alive. This past weekend.
I can only imagine how many F-bombs were dropped.
You know, she dropped more than I dropped in 6 years, and I dropped quite a few. You know.
Sorry, a little.
Yeah, we are only 1-5 in the playoffs against them. That's what sucks.
Yeah, I don't know if it doesn't really. I don't know if it breaks down the playoffs or not, but.
Well, I can tell you right now, the first time we played them in the playoffs was 1970, and they came up here and beat us in like 10-degree weather. No, Davey, Ursel McBee wasn't. That wasn't Ursel McBee. That was Ed Shirachman. McBee didn't get to the team until 65.
Okay, so they do have an asterisk next to the playoff games.
Okay, do they?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we lost to them in 70, 17-14.
Yeah, and that was at home too.
Yeah.
And then 1988, that was the Anthony Carter game.
Yeah, 87 season.
So, yeah, January 9th.
Yeah.
87. And then we played them again in 89.
Yeah, they owned us for 2 years in a row in the playoffs. They owned us 2 years in a row.
It says here that the Vikings won in 80. Let me see.
Yeah, we beat them in.
So 88, the Vikings won. 89 and 90 is when they lost.
Right.
We lost 34-9 in 89 and then 41-13. The 41-13, that was the Young run, right?
No. That was Joe Montana, 4 TDs in the first half.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the Herschel Walker playoff game. We scored first, but then right out of the bat, what's his name? Montana hit Jerry Rice on a crossing pattern over the middle, and he took it to the house. And after that, it was over. It was over.
Yeah. So the playoff, it was 70, 88, 89, 90. 1998, but that was the 97 season.
Yeah.
And then 2020 is the last time they played them, the playoffs.
That's right. That was Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've only beaten them once.
Yeah, and that was – they probably would have beat him in 70 if Joe Kapp as a quarterback. They wouldn't – I mean, we didn't have a quarterback that game, but then the Niners literally played ball control with the Viking defense. And, like, for a stretch there from 1970 to 1972, the Niners literally owned the Vikings, and it was John Brody that Viking defense.
Hold on, we got a question from Davey.
No, that was that's going to be – it's either going to be Ed Shirachman or George Rose. It's not Ursel because Ursel didn't get there till 65, and this is 64. So it's got to be that's probably George Rose. Okay, there's Paul Dixon. All right, there's Kasulki. That's George Rose, number 44. The other guy is Jeff Jordan, number 22. That was Jeff Jordan that is on top of him. Yep. Yeah, that's Jeff Jordan.
45 and 57 look like.
57.
Look how young he looks.
Yeah, 57 is Bill Jobco and 45 is Ed Shirachman. Bill Jobco was a linebacker.
I remember someone asked. Hold on a second. Let me pause it. I remember when someone asked, "Why didn't you guys tackle him?" They go, "Because we couldn't catch him."
You couldn't catch Mick Tinkeloff said he was the fastest guy on the team. They couldn't catch him. And if you notice, when he picked up the ball, Jobco and Shirachman started running, and he, upfield to make a block. Jim just kept running. But yeah, what's his name? Mick Tinkeloff said they asked him, why didn't you try to catch him? He said you couldn't catch him. He was too fast. He was the fastest guy on the team. You couldn't catch him. And there are certain pictures and certain angles of him running with the ball where you can see the Viking bench and they're literally yelling at him that he's going the wrong way.
So people want to know why coaches point and go this way. That's why. Because I see it all the time, like on college football or NFL on the sideline.
Yeah.
You see the coach pointing and they're doing this at the same. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly why. And
where they're going.
It didn't cost him his job. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, with Van Broecklyn would have benched him in a heartbeat, but he didn't. He kept him out there. So
yeah,
and let's face it, the guy played 20 years in the league, and I mean, yeah, that's just a goofball that he's always remembered for. But other than that, he had a great career.
That's also the reason why he may not be in the Hall of Fame.
The fact he's not, the reason he's not in the Hall of Fame is because of the Super Bowls, because he was overshadowed by Eller and Page, and also he only made All-Pro once or twice.
Was that because of Eller and Page?
Yeah, he only played in 2 Pro Bowls. But yeah, and that's probably because of it. He was overshadowed. everybody that played in that era gives him his flowers, gives him his props. But with the national press, when you think of the Purple People Eaters, the first ones they think of are Page and Eller. Marshall just happens to be among
1993 was the last time San Francisco won in Minnesota.
92.
Let me see.
Yeah, they won in 92. They won 20-17. That was Denny's first year.
So 91.
And the Niners would have lost that one if Rich Gannon hadn't had a meltdown at the end of the game and blew it because we were in field goal range for that game.
What is? Oh, because they okay. So yeah, 1991 they won.
Beat them 17-14 in 91.
Yeah, and then 92 they lost. But it says here. Okay, never mind. The wins and losses are the Vikings on this. Okay. Yeah, so 91 the Vikings. 91 the Vikings won.
Mm-hmm.
92 the Vikings lost.
91 the Vikings won because that's the year that the Niners were going through changes. Well, and that's the year that Joe Montana was out the whole year with the back, and he didn't play the whole year.
And then San Fran at Men 92. 20 San Fran 20, Minnesota 17.
Yep.
Then the Vikings went to San Fran the next year, 38-19.
Yeah, that was bad.
94, 21-14, Minnesota wins.
I was at that. That was Christmas Day of 94. Right. I was at that.
And then the Vikings played 3 straight times in San Fran. They lost all 3.
Mm-hmm. The one in 95, that was a Monday night game. Young and Warren Moon went toe-to-toe as far as passing yards.
Yeah, 37-30.
Yeah, the biggest difference was Jerry Rice. Yeah, Jerry Rice had like 3 or 4 touchdowns that game. He just put on a clinic. I forget who was covering him. I think it might have been either a rookie Corey Fuller or we had this Donald Frank. I don't think it was Frank, but
yeah,
I think it was Corey.
Dexter Carter 78. So it was Jerry Rice 8-yard pass, Dexter Carter 78-yard punt return, Jerry Rice 48-yard pass.
Yeah,
the assassin kicked the field goal. Chris Carter 6-yard pass, Jerry Rice 31-yard pass, Chris Carter 2-yard pass. The assassin with another field goal. Then it was Jake Reed. Then 49er field goal. Then Steve Young an 8-yard run.
Yep. Yeah, Davey, that's right. Leonard Marshall knocked him out in that championship game. He didn't play for 2 years. Actually, 3 years. He didn't play again until he played in the last game of the 92 season for the Niners. He played the Lions, and everybody knew he was going to be gone after that year because free agency was coming in. So
Jerry Rice had 14 catches, 289 was 200. Let me see. Looks like 289 yards.
Yeah, he went off that game.
Yeah. So, yeah. 14 catches, 289 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Yep. And Warren played a good game himself, too.
So the passing was Warren Moon was 22 of 39 for 224 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Steve Young was 30 of 49 for 425 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Yep.
Warren Moon was sacked 5 times.
Was he sacked 5 times that game? How many times did we get to Steve Young?
Once.
No, it was probably John Randall.
Let's see what it says for Stevie. J.J. Stokes, man. You talk about a bust. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he was. The only thing I remember J.J. Stokes for was when Bill Romanowski spit on him. That's all I remember about J.J. Stokes.
Yeah. So Donald Frank had a pick. Orlando Thomas had a pick. See, the sacks were Bryant Young had 2.
Okay.
Ricky Jackson had 1. Alfred Williams had 2. Broderick Thomas had ours.
That's right. Broderick Thomas was a Viking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and that was a Monday nighter. Yeah, selling that bad loss will probably come later in the year when we need a win. Go down to Davey's question. Yes, he did. He did have vision problems. I forget what it was, but it kind of like, I don't know if it was peripheral vision, where he would look a certain way and he would go blind.
You know who else had vision problems?
Who?
Williamson.
Who?
Troy Williamson.
Troy had all kinds of problems. Troy had more problems than anybody I've known to ever play football. My God. Well, I know Troy when he was a kid. I think isn't he the one that suffered? He got burned when he was younger, and he survived it or something like that.
I do not know.
But he had alligator arms. I mean, you just kind of felt bad for him after a while. But yeah, Jake Reed did have vision problems when he first got here. And then
I guess I forgot he had abscesses removed from his hip.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Jake did have vision problems. They cleared it up, and I think that's why they lined him up where they lined him up, because I think his vision was better from that side. I think that had a lot to do with it. So, but it took getting Warren Moon here for Jake to really evolve. It took getting a quarterback, you know.
Well, we've gone over that. We've had some bad quarterbacks here.
Yeah, even I mean, between Cap and Tarkenton, yeah, I mean, even with Quazzo, Lee, and Snead, and Lee was a punter. But then even after that, I mean, once Tommy Kramer got hurt, Wade Wilson had his moments, Rich Gannon had their moments, but we just haven't had that franchise QB in years, as I say.
We got one now.
Yeah, if he ever gets on the field. If he ever gets on the field.
Sammy D.
He's a 1-year deal.
Yeah, I know. But
He's a 1-year deal. Well, I give him credit, yeah. That, you know what, though? That Giant defense is garbage. That Giant team is garbage. Yeah. That team is garbage. But you went in there and took business. So
how many times have the Vikings played down to their competition?
Oh, that happens every year that I can remember. Every year that I can remember. So for them to go in there and win like they did Sunday, I applaud them. I gave like I said, if they were handing out game balls, I gave mine to Kevin O'Connell because he called a good game. I was nice to Kevin O'Connell. Mark that down, folks. I was nice to Kevin O'Connell. I gave him a compliment.
I'll tell you what, though, Van Ginkel, he looks good.
He's hurt again too. It's his foot.
I thought what's his name was the only one who came out of the game with an injury.
Addison?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably not playing on Sunday. It was for them to beat up a team that they should have beat up was just, that was good to see, and they dominated them. Now, yeah, we still got some issues to work on, mainly Stay Puft Marshmallow Dude and his buddy, Marshmallow Man. And I mean Bradbury and Ed Ingram, but I'm not going to bitch. Brandel looked good. We've got two great bookends at tackle, Darisaw and O'Neal. We just have the problem with Bradbury and Ingram.
Well, I mean, with how they got Burns and Thibodeau as their two defensive ends.
And Burns, they got shut out.
You didn't hear anything from either one of those. Thibodeau's was offsides. That was the only thing you heard from Thibodeau.
Yeah. The only one we heard from that whole game was Lawrence, but Lawrence now is probably the best interior lineman.
But it was just two plays: the sack, and then when he hit for the interception, when he hit Darnold's arm. Right. That was it. The rest of the game, the interior lineman shut him down.
Yeah, I was just happy that KLC ran the ball as much as he did. That helped a lot. I just wanted to stick with it. I can see right now Aaron Jones has better vision as a runner than Madison. Yeah.
He looked like Dalvin Cook wearing 33 out there.
He did.
If Aaron Jones does not get hurt, this team's going to be good.
Yeah, and if he, and that's where I'm like, put him on a pitch count. You got Madison.
Well, he had 14 carries, 97 yards.
Yeah. I'm not Madison. You've got Ty Chandler. Let Chandler get some runs.
Gaskin got a carry.
Yeah, Gaskin did play.
Yeah,
he did play. So, but yeah, and that's, this week is a test. Let it be it's the Niners.
CMC's probably not going to play.
He has got some sort of arthritic problem with his Achilles. It could be career ending. So we're going to monitor that close. But they got that Mason dude, and that Mason dude was pretty damn good on Monday night. He was pretty good.
Well, I think it doesn't matter who the running back is for the 49ers.
No. But at least, okay, here's the thing, though. At least Shanahan, I give him credit. He knows he's got Brock Purdy as a quarterback. He still puts a running game and an offensive line behind him.
Yeah.
That he's got that to work with. They built their offense right. They just did. Purdy does not scare me as a quarterback. He just does not.
Well, I think he's better than Dak.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the Black Kirk Cousins? Yeah. Who is now getting paid.
A lot less money, too. So.
Mm-hmm. Which they're going to have to pay him now. They're going to have to pay Purdy.
Yeah.
They're going to have to pay him.
Sorry, my fingers creeped out. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to pay him $60 million. That was a ridiculous contract that they gave Dak Prescott.
And he'll get something near there. He's done more than Dak.
Well, that's why I tell, like Zoe, him and I got into an argument. He thinks Dak Prescott is a top QB, and I'm like, no, he's not.
No, he's not.
And he doesn't like Purdy. I'm like, well, Purdy is, been to 2 NFC Championship games in the Super Bowl. Dak Prescott's never got there.
No, he can't get out of the second round. There's a reason Amari Cooper called him the Black Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah, Trent Williams.
And by the way, everybody's talking about the San Francisco defensive line. Darisaw owns Bosa.
Yeah, if I'm the Niners, I'm lining up Bosa where the weakness of the line is, and I'm putting him right on Ed Ingram.
Yeah.
I'm putting him right on because he's going to get shut down by Darisaw, and he's going to get shut down by O'Neal.
Yeah.
So move him inside, put him on Ingram.
Because Burns is pretty good as a pass rusher. He was totally shut out last week. And Bosa in last year's game didn't do anything.
Thibodeau, I didn't even hear his name. I heard him jump off sides.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I don't even know who the other lineman is for the 49ers.
T-Bass, I don't know if the Niners will take if Purdy does do well, he's going to want to get paid. And if the Niners don't want to pay him, and the Vikings aren't going to pay Darnold at the end of the year, win or lose. They're not going to get Darnold again. I don't think they'll re-sign Darnold. He just left. The Niners. So I don't know if he would bring him. But you know what though? With
I wouldn't say he left on bad terms though.
He didn't leave on bad terms. He does know Shanahan's playbook too. So yeah, it's a possibility. It is. You know, it's depending on if Sam keeps up this, if he's consistent like he was on Sunday for the rest of the year, somebody's going to pay him. He's going to get paid. He's playing with house money this year, so you know, but
because if you think about the 49ers, that's kind of a position they've always had. Well, yeah, there was like maybe a 10, 15-year period where they didn't have them, but
have what?
Quarterback. Go back to Brody.
Okay, when I started watching football, Brody was a quarterback, but they also drafted Steve Spurrier.
Was Hadel a Cardinal or a 49er?
Hadel was a Ram.
Hadel was a Ram, okay.
Yeah, Hadel was a Charger and a Ram, and then he went to the Oilers.
I just know Hadel, like when you look at NFL record books, Hadel was all over.
Right. But Brody was the quarterback when I started watching the Niners. Right. Brody was a quarterback. Then there was Steve Spurrier. Then they also had Norm Snead, the former Viking, as a quarterback. And then in 76, they got Jim Plunkett as a quarterback. And they also had a quarterback named Scott Bull who beat the Vikings that year. But that was basically because Delvin Williams and Wilbur Jackson beat us on that Monday night game. They both ran for over 150 yards. After Plunkett, they had Steve DeBerg. I'm sure that name sounds familiar to everybody. But then they drafted Joe Montana. And then once they got Montana, that put them in the right direction as far as quarterbacks went.
Well, yeah, because they had Young. They kind of did what Green Bay did. They went from one Hall of Fame quarterback to another.
Yeah, and that was because everybody, for those that don't realize this, Steve Young was playing in Tampa Bay. He was a starter with the Buccaneers. And the 49ers made the trade for him in 87. That's why when I think the only game that Joe Montana ever got pulled was that playoff game against the Vikings in 87. And they put Steve Young in there.
Yeah, because he was most of the other time when he got replaced, it was because of injury.
Right. If he left, it was because of an injury, but he literally got pulled in that playoff game with the Vikings. And then so they went from Young. They also had Steve Bono. So they had Montana, Young, Bono. Then Young came in. And then who was it after Young? Was it Jeff Garcia?
I believe so.
Yeah, they had Jeff Garcia. They had Trent Dilfer, Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick. Who was it after Kaepernick?
Okay, so...
Yeah, yes, Young played in the USFL with the LA Express.
So Frankie Albert was their starting quarterback from 46 to 52.
Okay, never heard of the guy.
Y.E. Tittle took over.
Yeah, Y.E. Tittle was there. That was him and RC. That's when they had the alphabet backfield. And him and RC Owens had a pass called the alley-oop, which is the goal line.
So 53 to 59. See, I always remember Y.E. Tittle as a Giant.
Yeah, he was a Niner too. Yeah, he was a Niner.
And then Brody, so John Brody, 60 to 62. I guess he got hurt. Lamar McCann took over. Bob Waters was also on that team. 64 74 to, so pretty much from 63 to 71, Brody was the starter. And then it was Spurrier in 72. And then it
Now,
was
okay,
Brody.
72. Here's the thing with 72. The Niners needed to win one game to make the playoffs. They played the Vikings the last game of the year. Spurrier started the game, but the Vikings were winning 17-3. Dick Nolan was the head coach of the Niners. He pulled Spurrier. He put John Brody in, and Brody had owned the Vikings the last 2 years. Well, Brody came in and brought them come from behind victory. They beat the Vikings in the last minute and made the playoffs, beating the Vikings 20-17. I remember watching that game. They beat them. It was a Saturday afternoon game, and they made the playoffs, and the Vikings ended up 7-7.
And then, 73, they went back to Brody.
73 was Brody?
Brody, 6 games, Spurrier 5, Reed 3.
Okay, Joe Reed. He ended up with the Lions. Because the Vikings played Spurrier in 73. I think Spurrier had completed like 31 passes, the most ever on the Viking defense, or attempted or something like that. And we beat him on what's his name picked off 2 passes at the end of, towards the end of the game, Paul Krause. We beat him 17-13. And then we didn't play him in 74.
For 74 was Tom Owen, Joe Reed, Dennis Morrison, and Norm Snead. Those are all guys who played games for him.
In 74?
Yep.
Okay, because we opened the season against him in 75, and I think we played both Norm Snead and Steve Spurrier as the first game of the year.
Yeah, Snead, Spurrier, and Owen were the 3 quarterbacks.
Okay. 76, we played him on Monday night. The quarterback was Scott Bull, and I think Jim Plunkett was hurt.
Yeah, Plunkett played 12 games that year.
Yeah. Okay.
And then 77 was Plunkett.
Yeah, 77 was a game. So we played him in 77, and that was the Tommy Kramer game. Tommy Kramer come from behind game. Plunkett was the quarterback.
And then the next 3 years, Steve DeBerg was the starter.
Yep. We opened the season against him in 79. DeBerg was a quarterback. That game's on YouTube, too.
Right.
Tommy Kramer was the starter for the Vikings. And then
Montana was the backup, Bill.
Yeah, they drafted Montana that year. And then we didn't play the Niners again until 83 with that embarrassing Thursday night game. Friggin' Montana threw like 4 TD passes in the first half. We were losing 41-10 at halftime in 83. It was a Thursday night game. That's how bad it was.
So Montana was essentially the starter from 81 to 90.
Yep. So we lost to Montana in 83, 48-17. Then we lost to Montana in 84, 51-7. That was Les Steckel's year. They had 31 points at halftime.
Matt Cavanaugh started 1 game in 84 and 1 game in 85.
Yeah, he played in that 51-70. Montana threw like 3 TD passes. One of them was to Ronaldo Nehemiah. I think it was like the only TD he had all year. And then Bud Grant's first game back in 85, we played the Niners and beat them 28-21.
Yeah, Jeff Kemp and Mike Morawski were the backup. They actually started. But then 87 was Montana, Young, and Gagliano.
We played the Niners in 86. We beat them in overtime, but we didn't play Montana. Jeff Kemp was the starting quarterback in 86.
Right. And then 88, 90, 91 was just they went back and forth.
Montana, Young, yeah.
And then 91, Bono. So 91 was the first year without Montana. So Bono was the backup. He played 6 games that year.
Yeah, 91 Montana was hurt all year.
And then 91 to 98 was Steve Young. So 95, Elvis Skerback played 5 games. 96, Elvis Skerback played 4 games. Jim Druckenmiller played 1 game in 97. Ty Detmer.
I'm trying to think. We played him in 95. That was Young.
Yeah.
We didn't play him in 96. We played him in 97. That was Young.
Yeah. Because I remember they drafted Jim Druckenmiller out of Virginia Tech. Talk about he was supposed to be Steve Young's replacement. Well, that didn't work out.
That never worked out.
Yeah, then Ty Detmer played one game in '88, and then 1999 was Jeff Garcia.
Okay, so it was Garcia that we played in '99.
Yeah, and then Steve Sinstrom was a backup, and Steve Young played 3 games. That was probably his. I think that was his last year in San Fran.
This was last year. Yeah.
Then Jeff Garcia, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. Then '04 was Tim Rattay out of Louisiana Tech. Ken Dorsey was the backup.
Is that who? Did the Vikings play them in '04? Was it Rattay that was the quarterback? It was either 2003 or 2004. Randy Moss, Gus Frerotte was a quarterback. It was 2004. Randy Moss had like 3 touchdowns, and T.O. had a blow up on the sideline at the coaches. He had lost it. He snapped on everybody.
That would have been Garcia then.
Yeah, it was Garcia. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
and that was 04. We didn't play him in 05. Dilfer beat us in 06.
Well, 05 was Alex Smith's first year.
Was whose?
Alex Smith. Alex Smith started 7 games. Tim Rattay started 4. Ken Dorsey started 3. Cody Pickett started 2.
How long was Alex Smith in San Francisco?
05, 06, 07, 09, 10, 11, 12.
That's
I'm
right. He
assuming-
went to the champion. He went to the championship game with them in 11.
I'm assuming he was there in 08 but didn't play because
He got hurt.
so. And then Garcia. Then Alex Smith, Trent Dilfer started 6 games in 07. Sean Hill and Chris Winkie.
Chris Winkie was a Niner?
Yeah, 2007. Started in 1 game.
Oh my God.
And then 08, Sean Hill started 8 games. JT O'Sullivan started 8. And then Alex Smith and Sean Hill. And then 2010 was Alex Smith and Troy Smith.
So who was the starter in 09?
09 was Alex Smith and Sean Hill.
Okay, so I think we played Alex Smith the game that Brett Favre beat them in the last.
I remember Sean Hill playing against us as a quarterback for the 49ers. But
I do remember. I remember him as a quarterback with the Niners.
And then Kaepernick, 13 and 14, and 15. You didn't remember he got beat out by Blaine Gabbert. So Kaepernick was only there from 13 to 16.
Yeah, Kaepernick, and that's when Kaepernick had to falling out with all the other shit too.
Right. Blaine Gabbert beat him out. So he lost his job before he started doing what he's known for. Then Brian Hoyer, C.J. Beathard, and Jimmy Garoppolo, 2017.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we played Garoppolo in 20.
And I remember Pete Bursich said it. Jimmy Garoppolo could not throw outside the numbers. And then I remember watching the game. He never threw outside the numbers once.
He threw outside the number. He threw outside the numbers and he got picked off by Mike Hughes for a touchdown.
Yeah. And then Brian Hoyer. Gosh. So then it was 2017. So 2018 was Nick Mullins, C.J. Beathard, and Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, that's right. Mullins was
And
there.
then 19, Garoppolo started every game. And then 2020 was Mullins, Garoppolo, and Beathard. And then 2021 was Garoppolo and Trey Pants Lance.
Okay.
And then 2022 was Garoppolo, Purdy, and Lance. And then, of course, 2023 was Purdy and Sam Darnold.
Okay.
So they've had a pretty good history of quarterbacks.
Yeah, they've had success. They've had probably better success than us. Because they had Montana and they won 4 Super Bowls. They had Young, they won a Super Bowl. Purdy has yet to win a Super Bowl.
But he's gotten there.
Yeah, he's gotten there. That's the whole thing. Yeah,
it's just getting there is
getting there's half the battle.
I would like just to get there.
Well, for those that haven't seen it, yeah. Those that have never seen the Vikings in a Super Bowl, yeah. That's
what up, Aussie?
Hey, Aussie.
Hey, we got to get you to get on one of our Friday night shows, but there's no Friday night show this week. But
Yeah, we've got a.
because I'm out of town.
I mean, for this generation, there's a generation of Viking fans that have not seen this team in the Super Bowl. Me, I've seen 3 of them, been alive for 4 of them. I just want to see them win one of them.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, we just need to get back. It's been going on 50 years since we went to a Super Bowl.
What about purple?
Hey, purple.
I mean, could this be one of the 2017 year where they just go off?
Or it could be like what year was it where they won their first game, then all of a sudden they just fell off?
Oh, when they started off like 5-0?
Yeah, that was at like 03.
Something like that, 06, 03.
Yeah, I mean, you could have that. You never know. I mean, the Giants, I thought the Giants would be a better test than they were, and they weren't. The Niners will be a test because the Niners are going to be physical. So the Vikings are going to have to be physical too, and the Vikings just aren't a physical team.
Well, they were when they played the Niners last year, but that was last year.
That was last year. And put it this way, they'll be physical on the defensive side of the ball. I always worry about a Kevin O'Connell offense, though.
Yeah.
I just do. He's not the most. Sometimes, I think Davey mentioned it earlier, sometimes he coaches not to lose. He's not coaching to win. He's coaching not to lose. And if you're going to do this, you got to be all in and you got to win.
I think with Aaron Jones, though,
Aaron helps, but he's got to stick with him.
That's what I'm saying. I think maybe he will because he did stick with him Sunday. Yeah, he had 14 carries, but how many carries did Ty Chandler have? You know.
Yeah, and his yards were positive, so he's going to have to. And if you really want to get your offensive line to get some cohesion, run the ball.
Yeah.
And if you're going to throw, go play action. I mean, it's not rocket science. I don't overthink it. Sometimes old school football, it's boring, but you get more W's. You still get if you get to W, nobody cares. That's the only stat that matters.
Yeah. You know, and they look good they did look good against the Giants, you know. And like I said, there have been blowouts in the 49ers San Francisco, 49ers Vikings games. There has been blowouts.
Both sides, yeah.
Both sides. So, but majority of the time it's close. I mean, like I said, it's 25-24 and 1 all time. So, I mean, you can't. I mean, it's just like every team in the division except for the Lions. The Vikings are pretty much almost as 500 against every. You know, they're below. I think the Packers have like 6 more wins. I think it is, but the Bears and Vikings are pretty much even. You know, of course, the Vikings,
I ain't gonna lie. I looked at a little bit of that Chicago Tennessee game. Bears didn't impress me.
No,
the Bears did not impress me. Detroit. If they ever get Detroit with that running game worries me. They're kind of a physical team up front. But it's like this, you know, maybe Dan Campbell is turning around that organization. Maybe they're buying into a system. Who knows?
I was watching a show earlier, NFC North Roundtable, and they were all talking about how the Lions are not just a team to beat in the NFC North, but just the NFC. And they're mostly the Rams. Yeah, the Rams are a good team, but there are. I mean,
McVay lost that game,
right? And that's what I said. I said the Lions lost that game more than the.
The Rams lost that game more.
The Rams lost that game more than the Lions won it.
And on defense, the Rams are missing Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
They're missing Aaron Donald.
So, I mean, the Lions' history shows And I know you can't. I know I know history. Was it history? Prior history performance doesn't, uh, you know, guarantee. I can't remember the saying. Something about prior, prior history
Mhm.
doesn't. This is whatever the term is. But 91 to 93, the Lions were good those 2 years.
Yeah.
And then from 93 till last year, they think they made playoffs once, twice,
I believe twice.
three
They made it in
times.
they
Oh,
made it
wait a
in
minute.
95 and 94. Yeah, 94 and 95
Yeah.
they made
Yeah.
playoffs.
One, two, three times. Sorry. Doing my
Yeah,
bugweed. Doing my bugweed from Saturday Night Live.
I mean
But
it's now all of a sudden they've got this attitude that they're the team to beat. Okay, yeah, it's a new year. And it took you overtime to beat a Rams team that wasn't that good.
well, their offensive line is just like men's pretty much. They got good tackles, and their interior is questionable. Now, is their interior better than Minnesota's? Yes, but their left tackle. I would say the
It's
left
not, you know
tackle.
what? That's not a.
Right. I
I
would say
mean, there's a lot of interiors that are better than Minnesota.
I would say the left tackles are about maybe even. I would say maybe Darisaul's a little bit better.
You know
The
what?
right.
As far as between Sewell and Darisaul, Sewell can stay healthy. The only problem with Darisaul is he misses games.
Right. But our right tackle, if O'Neal was healthy, he's better than Detroit
Right.
has. Yeah, Detroit's very beatable.
Yeah, they are. They are
That's
beautiful.
one thing they were saying. Oh, the Lions didn't even play their best game and they won. Well, the Bears didn't play their best game and they won, but no one.
Bears got lucky.
Right. And it's like, the Rams didn't play their best game either. And if they don't lose Puka, the Lions don't win.
Yeah, but the Lions still couldn't cover Cooper Kupp.
Right. So
One that was beating them was a kid from North Minneapolis, Tyler Johnson, the former Buccaneer, former Gopher.
right. Like
They
I said,
couldn't cover him
the
either.
Rams O-line is hurt. So I am not impressed with the Lions win that they won.
And the Rams offensive line was a couple of guys are suspended. Everybody else is hurt. I mean, they're all backups. And then they lost somebody during the game. I mean, the Lions don't scare me because they're the Lions.
Right. And then the 49ers do because they're the 49ers. The 49ers have.
You know what, though? I got to be honest with you.
Not this year. I think Minnesota beats them.
Here's the thing with the Niners. The Niners don't scare me. The Niners are physical. The Niners are also going to be on the road. They're a different road team than a home team.
Right.
So I'm not. I mean,
The only game that really scared me was the Chiefs game last year, and the Vikings still almost won that game
yeah, they did.
without JJ.
Yeah,
So this team is. I know we do criticize KOC because we question his play calling. We don't question his offensive scheme. We don't question that. But this team does play for KOC. This team does not quit with KOC.
they've bought into KOC for the most part, but that defense loves Brian Flores.
Yeah.
That's that defense will go to war for Brian Flores.
And that defense will be physical.
Yeah. Flores will have them. Flores is going to have them out there knocking heads, and it's probably going to shock the Niners.
They lined up Metellus as a defensive lineman.
Yeah, he was playing on the edge.
The Giants.
Yep, he was playing on the edge.
I mean,
what's his name looked good last week? Jerry Tillery.
Yeah,
he looked good. They actually got an inside push. I mean, granted, the Giants are the Giants, but like you said, Catch, you beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
You know, we're not supposed to beat the Niners. Matter of fact, on paper, the Niners should kick our asses, but games aren't played on paper. So you show up, you go out there, and if you're physical with the Niners, that's going to shock them. Just the shock of you being physical with them. You know,
I would say this is a home game for the Vikings. They jump out early. It's done, but the 49ers, you got to fight the whole game against the 49ers.
That's why I said O'Connell's got to keep his foot on the gas. Yeah. He can't let up. If he jumps out early, he can't have that lull like he used to before. He's got to keep the foot on the gas like he did last week. I was encouraged last week that he did keep his foot on the gas. He didn't give up, and it also helps now that you got a running game.
Yeah.
Your running game works. Stick with it. Don't abandon it.
History shows that the 49ers don't quit either.
No.
You know, they expect to out-physical you and have you quit before they do. You know. So.
But like I said before, they're a different team on the road.
Yeah.
They are a different team on the road. And believe it or not, the time factor could probably screw with them because the game is at noon our time, which is like 10 o'clock California time, which is what they're used to. Yeah. That's an early game for them. So that could have an effect on them. I don't know
if this game was at San Fran, I would be treating it like the playoff game that they played there last time they played San Fran.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be treating it like that. But the fact that it's in Minnesota is the reason why I think the Vikings have a chance.
The Vikings this year, for this home opener, they got to come out, and KLC's got to make this happen. This team has got to come out with guns blazing. You don't come out like you did last year when you honored Bud Grant and you look like hell. Don't come out like that. You got to come out and hit him in the mouth. You know what, Davey? If you think about it, the game's going to be on CBS. For all of us old school dudes, remember, CBS was the NFC station years ago.
NBC was AFC.
NBC was AFC. So it's kind of like old school. I kind of like the fact that they're going to play on CBS.
That was a good thing the NFL did, was given Fox AFC games and CBS NFC games.
Well, when it first happened, Fox came out of nowhere and got the NFC rights.
Yeah. I'm talking about this last TV deal they signed.
Anybody can get them now.
Yeah.
Anybody can get. And
it used to be NBC did AFC, CBS did
NFC,
and then ABC did Monday Night Football.
And that's only because back in the day when the two leagues were themselves, NBC had the AFL, and or NBC had the AFL, and CBS had the NFL.
Well, that's why the first Super Bowl is the only Super Bowl where two different networks covered the game.
Yeah, it was both CBS and NBC.
Yeah.
Yep, CBS and NBC.
Yeah, it's Fox wasn't a station. Fox wasn't a TV station.
No, Fox didn't become a station. Fox became an entity in 89 or 90, 88, I think. And then when they got the NFL, they became big time players.
Yeah.
That's when it literally took them getting the NFL, and they became a legit network.
Because when I was growing up, our Fox station growing up was an independent station.
Yes.
When Fox became a TV station, they became, because I remember the reason I love this channel being an independent was because when they would show up this is before internet, guys. They would show like the menu of the programs coming up.
Yeah.
And they would play Jessica in the background as the menu music.
The Allman Brothers?
Yeah, they'd play Jessica as the menu music. So that was pretty sweet. And then of course, but another good thing I like about it is they had growing up in Florida, it was Channel 29. They had a parrot as their logo. When it became Fox 29, they kept the parrot.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So it would say Fox 29, and the parrot would be standing on the 9. So that
okay.
Obviously the parrot's gone now, but when they first did it, so it was kind of cool. Because you got to remember, Fox still, when they first became a TV station, they still didn't have regular programming. They would still, the independent stations that became Fox, they would still rely on the programming that the independent stations had to cover most of it. It's not like now where they have like the Simpsons and all that type of stuff.
Well, they had the Simpsons. They had the Simpsons then.
But they didn't have the Simpsons, and then like all the shows following the Simpsons. It would be the Simpsons.
And the Simpsons.
I think it was Married with Children, then the Simpsons, and then it was independent programming.
No, it's Parker Lewis can't lose.
So, well, I'm talking about mine where I grew up.
Because when it first started, it was like Sunday night was The Simpsons, the Tracy Ullman Show, and then Married with Children and Parker Lewis Can't Lose, and then it went to independent programming.
Did The Simpsons start from the Tracy Ullman Show?
They started from the Tracy Ullman. They were a short segment in the Tracy Ullman Show. Yeah, they were a short segment in the Tracy Ullman Show. Davey, Chiller Theater here. Back in the day, we had something called Horror Incorporated, where they showed all like those old.
DirecTV used to have a station called Chiller, but they don't have it anymore.
They don't have Chiller no more?
No.
I know I got my Roku set up, and my Roku's got a Universal channel where they show the old Frankenstein and Dracula shit.
Because my wife used to watch that channel all the time because my wife loves those old like horror B film movies, type of horror movies. Like,
yeah, I like them too.
Cheesy, dumb ones. My wife loves those.
They're cheesy as hell, but it kind of takes you back when you were a kid, and it actually kind of scared you. But you look at it now, you're just kind of like, my God, people were scared of that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's the way. I mean, it's the way that TV has changed over the years. Like this game's going to be on Sunday now. And it's going to be on CBS, so that's kind of an old school feel. Only thing better would be if the Vikings wore their old school uniforms.
Are you talking about the Metallica song Morpheus?
My favorite song from Metallica is Four Horsemen.
Okay, so Billy Cat. I used to think it was Billy Bob Thornton, but it's not. There was a guy named Billy Bob or Billy something where. Before the movie, he would say, "Now this movie has now if you have kids, make sure you turn away because this movie shows 6 boobies. This movie shows this or this movie." Before he would watch the movie, I could have swore it was. I know it's not Billy Bob Thornton, but I could have swore it was a name similar to Billy Bob.
So is he basically Svengoolie?
I don't know. I can't remember his name, but before a movie would come out, he would talk like Billy Bob, kind of like a country, bumpkin, whatever, like that. And he would say, "Now, let me tell you."
Oh yeah, that country bumpkin type.
Let me tell you about this movie now. There's asses everywhere. There's asses everywhere, and there's blood everywhere. So if you don't like any of them, I don't know how you can't like asses. But if you don't like any of them,
oh my God!
And I'm not talking about male asses, gentlemen. So I can't remember who.
Yeah, we got Svengoolie here, Davey. We got Svengoolie here too.
Yeah, I don't know who that was, but yeah. I know we're kind of leaving the topic, but we're not going to have a show Friday because I'm going to be in Minnesota. So
Yeah, because he'll be in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
it's
going to be. It's going to be on CBS. It could be an old school game too, where it could be a physical game. We'll see. Like somebody said in the chat, we'll see what Trent Williams has because he's going to get speed rushers now.
When did the 49ers switch from silver to gold?
Well, they were kind of. I'm going to say it was like an old gold, as they call it, but it looks silver. It was originally, I think, supposed to be gold.
So they were never silver. It just looked silver.
It just looks silver.
Because the gold nowadays is considered old gold because they don't want to say yellow because that's derogatory.
Yeah, the old gold.
So they call yellow now gold.
And the Saints have ruined it because they don't wear the pants that go with the helmets. They wear black and it looks retarded. But the gold with the style that they got now, I'm gonna say. Because some of them helmets in the 60s look silver. Even when they got the insignia on them, just like that. But that, like the Jim Marshall highlight, that was gold.
Right.
That was gold.
The Raiders were yellow and silver, correct?
No, the Raiders were always like a yellow and blue. Okay. And then they got to be.
When Al Davis took over, they became black and gold, silver. That I do know.
Oh no, the Raiders were black and gold when the Raiders started. They were black and gold, and then they changed it to silver and black. But they were they were black and gold.
They have. I still say they got the best uniforms in the NFL.
Raiders?
Yes.
You know what? You can't screw that up.
Yeah.
You can't screw that up. No matter how it's a perfect color scheme, and no matter what you do to it, you just can't screw it up. That's an icon that you cannot fuck up that jersey. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
You just can't. But trust me, they've got. This is what I found out about the Vikings. They have a whole department that is piecing together, that is putting together next year's uniforms. The Vikings are changing uniforms next year.
Why? The ones they have now are perfect. They're not as good as the original uniforms, but they are perfect.
I like them. I like how
the shoulder stripes, when you put them like this straight away, it looks like a Viking longboat.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, and then they have like the little how the numbers aren't exactly the same. I like that.
And the numbers got to do with kind of like representing a sail.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're going to do next. Oh my God.
Because remember the 49ers were going to get rid of the circle with the SF, and they were going to actually put the 49ers on the helmet.
And the fans bitched.
Yes.
The fans went ballistic. And they basically had the prototype, and that was it. That was it.
Davey, I do. Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to contradict myself here. I can't stand white helmets. But the older white helmets, in my opinion, were better than the blue ones.
You know what? I remember the blue ones. I wasn't a fan of them. When they got the white ones, they look better with the white ones. I ain't going to lie.
Yeah. They were actually going to come out that year with that.
Yeah, they actually did. They had the press conference and everything to show off the helmet. I have it in my pictures somewhere. And, oh, God. And the fans hated it. Davey, okay, here's the thing with the shade of purple. Now, get this, Davey. This is going to blow your mind. The Vikings gave up the right to the darker shade of purple to Baltimore. They gave it up to them. That's why Baltimore's got a darker shade of purple and the Vikings have a lighter one. But if the Vikings are going to come up with a purple, they got to come up with kind of like the shade they have now. I want them to go back to the old school shade, which was in certain jerseys, it was damn near blue. That's them. That's them. Those are the ones that the fans hated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. I agree with the fans.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, you can see there's the press conference and all that. 1991 looks like.
They were going to change those in 96.
Yeah, but they came out with it in 91, I think it says right here.
Yeah, but it took them 5 years to release it. It was right after they won the Super Bowl they were going to announce it, and nobody.
This right here, that's classic, man. That is classic.
And if you notice now, it's just the red circle, but the black is more whiter. The black circle is. But yeah, I mean that's what the fans were like. No.
275 for that mini helmet with you. That is atrocious, man.
Yeah, it is.
I remember seeing that when my local paper put that out there, and I'm like, even as a kid, I didn't like it.
Well, if you don't like that, be prepared for when the Vikings do theirs, because I don't know how
they can't get rid of the horn on the helmet. It's the whole reason I'm a Vikings fan.
They're going to put the whole Viking on the helmet
permanently, or just like as a one-time thing.
No, it's been called. They've talked about it permanently. Yeah, and Davey, I'm with you. Darker purple and the larger horn. I'm serious. In regular block letters. That's.
Okay, go back to either the purple or the white face mask. Please get rid of the black.
I can work with any face mask: gray, white, purple.
Yeah.
Black. No, we don't have black in our color scheme.
Yeah.
We don't have black. But
I hate teams who put black in their color scheme who do not wear black as their official color scheme.
But every team does it because Nike came up with these black unis, and this generation just loves them. God. But yeah, for me, they need to go back to any old school jersey is fine with me, except the ones they wore from 06 to 012. I hate those high school unis. Just burn those suckers. Just burn them.
Those were awful. I like the was it 63 or the they had the purple pants for the road uniform, but they only did it for like a couple years. They had the purple pants, they had the white jersey, but the white jersey was different than what like the lines on their shoulders were different.
Yeah, they weren't like the shoulder strap.
Yeah. They only did that for a couple of years though.
No, those were all the way up until 69 when they went with the white.
But there was a year where the stripe was different. Like it was thinner or something like that.
That was 61 to 68.
Yeah, but wasn't there one year where the stripes were thinner? More of a gap in between them?
No, that's because depending on everybody wore mismatched jerseys. They weren't universal, but yeah, some had thinner stripes than the others. Davey, are you thinking okay? You said the Niners had the NFL logo. You sure it wasn't a Pro Bowl picture? Because the Pro Bowl uniforms were Niner colors and they had the NFL logo on it, on the helmet. But they were Niners colors. I think it was the East team. Because unless you are, technically nobody can wear an NFL logo unless everybody wears it. But the NFL was more lax then too, so you could be right. If they did, I'd be shocked. Are those supposed to be on the Niner helmets?
Yep, that's the Niner.
Yeah, they were silver at one time, weren't they? But see, they're either silver or gold.
These three right here kind of look silverish. But there is no NFL logo on any of these.
Actually, for anybody that wants to see like an old school uniform, what teams wore and stuff like that, there's a website called Gridiron Uniform Database. They've got all the uniforms of the football teams on there. It's actually a very cool website. But check that one out. Gridiron Uniform Database. So it's even got the uniforms for the teams in the 20s and stuff like that. That's how I found the Minneapolis teams that were there before, at the same time as the Duluth Eskimos.
Good night, North.
Did have a football team. Night, Norpheus. So, but yeah, I've always liked the Niner uniforms. They've always been pretty simple. I like the fact that they stuck with the gold pants. That's what I like the most all through their history.
Well, except for that 1 year.
Well, they had the white pants 1 year, didn't they?
The year they won the Super Bowl, they had the white pants when they beat the Chargers.
Oh, that was the throwback uniforms.
Yeah, the 75th anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the one.
The NFL needs to do something like that again.
You know what? That's what I don't understand with the NFL. Why don't you have this color rush and all that other shit? Why don't you have a weekend where the teams wear throwback uniforms?
Right.
Both teams, road and home. Wear throwback uniforms. And for the teams that really don't have a throwback uniform, create something that's reminiscent of a throwback.
Well, like the Texans wouldn't have one. The Jaguars are actually going to wear a throwback uniform.
Oh, they're old school, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The Panthers still look the same.
Yeah, they've had the same uniform since they've been a team.
Yep. Yeah,
But you
they
would think
still
the new Warner would have changed the colors.
okay. Too
Or-
Evil, are you really starting that now? My God, it's only 1 week into the year and already you're starting. Jesus, my God.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, it was a Pro Bowl. That's what I thought. Yep.
well, didn't they used to have like AFL versus NFL? Didn't like the AFL wear like blue over like red? The NFL wore like blue.
The NFC wore blue with the white helmet and the N on it for NFC.
Yeah.
The AFC wore white uniforms, red helmets with the A on it.
Did they have red pants too?
Yes. Yes.
And then they would flip, right?
No, they stayed that way for years.
So they said that. Oh, okay.
They stayed that way. Here's what happened. What happened was they got rid of the helmet. They had the players wear their regular helmet and the Pro Bowl uniform, which was better when they wore the helmet. I like the helmet.
Yeah.
Like you would have, say you had Dolman and Millard and Reggie White, they could wear their Philadelphia Eagles helmet. That's how you know.
Well, I thought that definitely, um, that definitely.
I always thought that was
team.
better.
You can see your team. Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that was better. Yeah, George, we need to go back to the purple we had in the 60s and 70s. We need to go back to it.
I hope you're not serious. I seriously hope you're not. I know you know people in the organization, so I hope they do not get rid of the orange on the helmet.
So do I. So do I.
I mean, don't they talk to focus groups? I know the Texans spent like 2 years talking to focus groups before they changed their uniforms.
Minnesota don't do that. You know what the focus group is? The front office. They don't do that.
I guarantee you they'll get the same backlash the 49ers got if they come out with the North egg for their logo.
If they don't come out with something that resembles the 70s, the 60s, the uniforms they wore prior to 2005, something like that, it's a lose situation. I mean, and unfortunately, Nike's involved too. That's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem. Nike's involved.
The Giants uniforms I didn't actually dislike. Their helmets were god awful.
Well, back then they wore the leather, so they didn't have a design on the helmets. So you got to make up something, and they just slapped that Michigan thing on there.
But that helmet does not look good in that color combination.
I don't know what other helmet you're going to use then. What are you going to use, blue?
Blue, red in that helmet design does not look good.
So would you go red, blue?
I don't know, white, red, maybe white. I don't know. But
You're better off probably just going blue.
Yeah, blue and red does not look good. Whether it's the blue helmet with red or the red with the blue, it does not. It just.
Well, they'll never wear them again. Thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God they can burn those uniforms. It's diverse, but they don't really listen to us fans.
Right.
They really don't.
But I guarantee you, if they put on Vikings.com, if they put a poll on Vikings.com, 99.9% will tell you do not change the helmet.
It depends.
Maybe not. Maybe for like a one-off. Maybe okay, but as the primary helmet, no.
No, it's the horns.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's the horns. That's a classic. You don't take rid of the horns, but they would do it. I mean, they're all into this like whiteout uniform, which I hate. I hate it.
I don't mind the uniform so much, but I hate white helmets. Like I said earlier,
I hate it. Period. It's such a gimmicky. What is it? That whole whiteout thing. That's college. That's a college football thing. Why doesn't the NFL come up with something original? You're the pros. Why are you borrowing from the minor leagues? That's all I'm saying. It's like you're the pros. Come up with something that is definitely yours. It's not that difficult. This whole whiteout shit is just to sell uniforms, sell jerseys, which people have bought. A ton of people have bought those white unis. I'm not going to be one of them because, first of all, it's white. And if you're a guy, white attracts stains, especially if you go to the restaurant.
Well, I'm also one of those guys to where you don't wear a jersey of someone who's younger than you.
Right.
Some people say that's a dumb rule, whatever, but that's just the way I am. Like all the jerseys I have, they're either the same age as me or they're older. Like now, if I remember, did buy me a Thielen jersey, but I don't wear it.
I'm wearing my personalized jersey. I'm wearing Saturday.
Yeah,
but it's personalized in the current style jersey.
Yeah.
So I'll wear that, but I'll wear a jersey. I don't care. Shit.
Okay, George, it's hard enough being a Vikings fan already, and if they get one of our signature looks, I wouldn't blame you.
It's a signature look. Yeah. It's a signature look.
Like when you look at that helmet, that's the Vikings.
Yeah, that's original.
Yeah.
That's original. Like you said, Catch, that's why a lot of people fell in love with the Vikings. That helmet.
Yeah. I know for a fact it's the reason I'm a Vikings fan.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's one of the coolest helmets ever.
Yeah, it was original.
I mean, granted, the Vikings didn't have horns on their helmet like that in reality, but still. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like that logo. I like the Norris said logo. Don't get me wrong. As a secondary logo, maybe do a one-off.
Dave, that
maybe
logo.
When you do the whiteout, you could throw that logo on the helmet. Maybe when you do the whiteout.
That logo they changed because they shortened the braid.
Yeah.
They shortened the braid like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's got a shorter braid now, but it used to be pretty long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, just here's what you do. You get the darker helmet. You put either a gray face mask, a purple face mask, or a white face mask on it. Call it a day. Make the horn bigger. They could do that too.
Yeah.
And then go back to the white jerseys with the.
I don't like the matte helmets either.
That's a Nike thing.
Yeah.
That's a Nike thing. Yeah, the whole whiteout deal is just a gimmick. It's a gimmicky thing.
But like I said, if they do a special UT uniform and they put the Norris head on there, fine. I don't have a problem with that.
You know what they should do? Now here's what's coming up. I talked to former Viking. I talked to Yogi's brother Willie Saturday. The Vikings are having their alumni weekend the weekend of the Houston game. It's alumni weekend. Why don't you wear your throwback jerseys?
Yeah.
Why don't the Vikings do that on alumni weekend? Wear your throwback jerseys to honor your past. It's not rocket science. I tell you what, a lot of people will buy those old school jerseys, especially when you put the old players' names on them. Hell yeah. I think now and a lot of the uniforms look like ass. I don't like the whole White Sox thing, and that's just
So that helmet right there is far.
Yeah, that's iconic.
That's the one that we have better than the one we have right now with the purple face mask.
Yeah. That's what they need to go back to. A glossy fit, a glossy finish. They need to go back to that. Yeah, they are talking about new uniforms.
Yeah. So hopefully, like what you're talking about with the Norris head is just an alternate helmet and not the real.
I hope so.
The real helmet.
I hope so. You can't for them to get rid of the whole damn. Put the whole Viking head on there would be. You can't get rid of the iconic thing that you have. You can't get rid of that. That's iconic.
Yeah.
You just can't.
Yeah.
But
I understand why they went to the black face mask. I get it. But
I don't. Where the hell did the black come from?
Trying to get younger people, I guess. Younger people like to wear black, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, but, you know what?
Bob, they don't all look the same. Like the ones they have now are matte colored. They got a black face mask.
It's the finish on. Yeah, if it's that
Yeah,
dull
yeah.
finish, that they're not the same. And I think a lot of teams are going to ditch that and go with a glossy look. Remember how? I mean, Bob. Remember how the helmets used to shine? They used to have a shine to them back in the day. Now they just have that dull finish. There's no shine
Oh,
to
just
them.
look at the shine on this one.
Yeah, that's what they need to go
Look at
back.
the shine on that one. You know.
Yep. Yeah, that's what they need to go back to.
Right. Oh, I mean, if you don't want to put a purple face mask on it, fine. Do white. White doesn't look bad.
No.
Don't do yellow. Yellow does not look good. But
That's what they could do.
right. So, or go. I'm really not a fan of the gray, but if you go back to the gray, it's better than black. Or
Gray is old. You know what? Gray is old school.
Because back in the day, gray was the only color face mask came in.
Yeah, the first team to get colored face mask was the Chargers in '74 when they changed their helmets to the dark blue. They had
Right.
the gold face mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, George. The Texas game is alumni weekend. That's when they have the alumni dinner and all that other stuff. The former Vikings get together, and then they have a game day.
Hey, that's all we need. We got the seal of approval right there.
Oh, there you go. Whatever mom says. Whatever mom says.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm a stickler for like helmets. Like I said, like look at the white. The Titans pretty much have the same helmet since they moved to Tennessee. Look at their white helmet and look at their dark blue helmet. You can't tell me their dark blue helmet does not look better than the white helmet. The only team that ever really looked good, well, there's two teams that I like with their orange helmet, with the white helmet. The old school Dolphin helmet, and then the old school Tampa Bay helmet, because they had the orange face mask, the orange stripe with the orange, because it was white helmet.
You mean Miami with the Dolphin?
Well, yeah,
with the helmet on it,
face mask, and the one when they throw their 60s back, when they throw their uniforms back to 1966.
Yeah, that was they had the
gray face mask because of course Aqua definitely was not available back then.
They got their Aqua face mask in '80. So when I think of the Aqua face mask, I think of Dan Marino. That's that era. That's the era I think of.
To me, I think the Dolphins should go back to their 66 uniforms permanently. Those are one of the best looking uniforms.
They should, yeah. I think many of the teams, well, here's what happens. You had, believe it or not, they had a bunch of celebrities design that Dolphins one because they got a bunch of celebrities on their board. And that's where they came up with the Dolphin logo that they got now, which is,
it's not that I don't like black, Mom. As you know, my school is garnet and black. It's not that I don't like black. I don't like when teams who don't say like your team colors are green and white. That's it. And you have a black uniform. If you want a black uniform, you should make your official colors green, white, and black.
Oh, I don't like the Jets did. Right. They were green and white, then they added black.
Used to be green and white, but now their official colors are green, white, and black.
Yep.
So I just don't like the fact to where, like, if it's not one of your official colors, in my mind, you shouldn't be wearing it. I know people will say, "Why it's dumb?" I know, whatever. It's just the way I am.
And can I say this about football pants? Put a stripe on them.
Yes.
Put a stripe on them. A stripe of some sort on them. The way pants are nowadays, put a stripe on them. The Lions wore those blue pants, and I'll tell you what, they need to wear the silver pants with the stripe.
Well, those throwback uniforms the Lions wore, I mean, they really are throwback because they're just a basic uniform, but
right.
But they wore the silver ones with no stripe, and then they wore the ones with the thin blue stripe, and the ones with the thin blue stripe are so much better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the Lions, and I like if they have I always like the Lions Honolulu blue and silver pants. and the white and silver pants. I always like that. And then when they get to the blue pants and all that other crap, I'm just like, oh God. Like what they wore Sunday.
Yeah.
And then let's not talk about the Rams. That's not gold. The Rams are wearing a neon yellow now.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, they're wearing a neon yellow. It's
of the two LA teams, the Chargers definitely had the better uniforms.
Chargers got it right. The Rams got it wrong. There was nothing wrong with the old school unis that the Rams had.
The year the Rams won the Super Bowl, there was nothing or lost. I can't. The year the Rams won the Super Bowl with the Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Before they switched to the old gold. Those uniforms, like when they moved from LA to St. Louis, those are by far and away the best Rams uniforms ever.
Yeah, and
I know some people like the old school blue and white, but I just like those better.
See, I grew up when I first started watching football. They were blue and white.
Yeah,
they were blue and white for about 10 years.
Well, when they were in Cleveland, they were blue and white. When they were
in Cleveland, they were red and gold.
Right, and then they switched to blue. Was it before? I know when they were Cleveland, they switched to blue and white before they left.
No, they didn't. They switched when they got to LA. They went to blue and gold when they got to LA.
Because I remember seeing a highlight of the Cleveland Rams against somebody, and they were Rams were blue and white.
Was it color or was it black and white?
I think it was color, but I'm not sure. They were definitely wearing blue and white when I could have swore Cleveland.
Because in Cleveland they were red and gold, and then when they got to, I think they were red and gold out with the Rams, and then when they got to like the 1950, they were yellow uniforms, but they were blue.
Yeah, they were. Was it? That's when. Was it Bob Watterson?
Waterfield and Van Brocklin were split.
Yeah, Waterfield and Van Brocklin.
Yeah. Crazy Legs Hurst was their wide receiver.
Yeah.
Yep.
The blue uniforms, the yellow uniforms with the blue stripes on the side.
Yeah, that was the Rams.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an early game, Bob. It's a kickoff. 12. It's a noon.
Yeah, it's a noon kickoff Central Time, Minneapolis time.
Like I said, it's really early for the 49ers.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, it's an early game for them.
So who knows how they're gonna, play. I'm not excited to go to my first game though. So.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun. The place is gonna be rocking.
I don't know where I'm sitting yet, but.
Do you know what section?
No, I haven't got my tickets yet.
You haven't got your tickets yet?
Nope, I gotta wait till Friday because my wife's going out of town. Usually, it's closer to the game, the cheaper they are.
No, good luck. That game's gonna be sold out, bro.
I don't know if it is or not.
Well, they're all sold out. You just have to find somebody that's.
Well, I've seen Geek and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably gonna get nosebleed.
Oh, there was still pretty good seats left. But
if you get here's the thing: if you get nosebleed, you don't have vertigo, do you?
No.
Okay, because literally, I have vertigo. You're literally looking straight down up there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm buying the tickets Friday, so.
Okay.
I should be able to get pretty good tickets.
Well, when are you coming into town?
Friday night. I could buy them before I leave.
Huh?
I can buy them before I even leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're flying in?
Yeah, my arm's gonna be really tired.
Where are you staying at?
With a friend. Let me see. Let me tell you real quick. Staying at a buddy of mine, and I think he said he's on 2nd Street, Minneapolis.
I'm right off of 3rd.
So
how close is he to the stadium?
He said he can see the stadium from his apartment complex. Let me. I gotta plug my phone in real quick to turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
My power button's broken on my phone, so I have to unplug it in and unplug it real quick for me to wake it up. Where did I do my cord? Let me see. There's the name of the apartment complex that he lives in. All right, let me see here. We'll definitely wrap it up here soon. Mill City.
Oh, he's right over there by the stadium. He's Mill City is right off of Washington Avenue, I think. Mill City Apartments, right?
Mill City Quarter Apartments.
On Washington?
No, 2nd Street.
2nd Street? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's,
know where he is.
322 South 2nd Street.
Oh, yeah, I know where he is. Yeah, it's not far from me.
Yeah, he said he could see the stadium from his place. So
Yeah, I'm not far from the stadium. I'm
so
kind of right.
that's where I'm staying.
Okay. So you're in walking distance to the stadium.
I hope so.
Yeah, you're like in walking distance.
Yeah.
So.
So I'm flying in Friday night. I'm leaving Monday. So
Yeah, and then we got Skull Fest on Saturday.
that's the main reason why I'm coming in.
Yeah. So I will be there. I'll see everybody there that's going.
Are you still working on that thing we discussed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they said they're going to have a spot if that does happen. So.
Okay. Yeah. Worst comes to worst, I'll talk to Yogi. So.
Well, like I said, no show Friday because, of course, I'm going to be in Minnesota. So no live stream, obviously.
Yeah. Right.
So, but I will probably tap in on the post game show from the stadium. Just see. So, that should be a good one.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, but so we will return next Wednesday for our Vikings Vintage. I think the Vikings play the Texans after.
Yeah, and there ain't a whole lot of history there.
There ain't a whole lot of history because I think they played them twice. So
yeah.
If you guys have any ideas for Vintage, let us know. If worst comes to worst, we could do a whole Vikings versus Houston teams, including the Oilers. But the Vikings really haven't played the Oilers that much in their history either.
No, and if we're going to do the Oilers, we have to do it with Tennessee. The Titans.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, if only.
Yeah, Bob, don't remind me. If they give the ball to friggin' Foreman like they should have. But coulda, woulda, shoulda.
If ands and buts.
Yep.
But like I said, we really appreciate you guys joining us as usual.
Thanks again, everybody. Thanks again.
Like I said, no show Friday, but we definitely will be back next week with Vikings Vintage, and then of course Friday, the free for all will be back. So thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
Take care, everyone.
Vikings, let's win this game. Score Vikings, honor your name. Go get that first down, then get a touchdown. Rock 'em, sock 'em, fight, 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 fight. Go Vikings, run out the score. You hear us yell for more. VIKINGS, Score Vikings, let's go.